Let's go ahead and call this Pompano Beach City Commission meeting to order on November 14th, 2023. If I could ask everyone to please silence their cell phones or put them on vibrate during the meeting, that way we don't get disrupted with an errant phone call, that would be great. Let's go ahead and call the roll. Kervin?
Commissioner Fournier?
Here.
Commissioner Moss?
Here.
Commissioner Perkins?
Here.
Commissioner Seegerson-Eaton?
Here.
Vice Mayor McGee?
Here.
Mayor Harden?
Here, thank you. Our invocation today will be given by Father Michael Garcia from the St. Coleman Catholic Church, and that will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. So if we can all please rise for the invocation, followed by the pledge. Father? Just right here.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Good and gracious God, you called your people from slavery into freedom. Give us strength and courage to seek out those who are in need of help. By your grace, help us to be more closely united with you and thus together bear a more effective witness to faith, hope, and love. Almighty God, you call us together in faith and love to serve the needs of the people of Pompano Beach. Assist these men and women of our city to carry out their duties with compassion and good example. May they be models of harmony and justice, and may they serve diligently for the good of those entrusted to their care. May God bless them and the work that they do today and always. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. All right. Can I get a motion approving the regular City Commission meeting minutes of October 24th, 2023?
So moved. Second.
Moved and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Thank you for that. On our agenda this afternoon, Mr. Harrison, do we have any changes?
No, sir.
Very good. Can I get a motion approving the agenda as printed?
So moved. Second.
Moved and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. On our consent agenda this afternoon, item number 2 will be pulled for individual discussion. So 2 is being pulled. That means items 1, 3, and 4 are eligible for discussion. Oh, I apologize. No, that's item number 3, not item number 2. My mistake. So items number 3 will be pulled for discussion individually. That means items 1, 2, and 4 are eligible for discussion during audience to be heard. Right. And that takes us up to special presentation. We have got a couple of great special presentations. First is the award presentation by Smart Growth Partnership. Nadia Locke, chair of the Recognition Committee from Smart Growth Partnership, will present the city with the Smart Growth Excellence Award for the City of Pompano Beach Sports Complex Park project. This, I believe, is going to be handled by Horatio Danovich. Horatio, you're going to cue this up for us? Mr. Danovich is all things GeoBond projects.
Thank you, Mayor. Horatio Danovich, Stegia LLC, representing the city as a consultant and assisting the city with the GO bond. I'm pretty happy to introduce Nadia Locke. Nadia and I go back a long way. She has been a consultant to the city under the company known as eSciences, providing tremendous services in the environmental world. She's helped us, particularly in the Northwest CRA, trying to clean up some of those areas and do some progress. And over time, we talked about other stuff that she does. And one of those is she works with the Smart Growth Partnership, and she recommended that we look at what projects the city of Pompano Beach could apply for and be recognized. And we thought that Youth Sports Complex would be one of those projects because of the elements. And with that, what I like to do is I like to have Nadia address the mayor and the city commission, and she's going to introduce some members of her panel.
Very good. Thank you for that. Please, just either one. That's right there is fine. I mean, if you want to be in front and center.
Hello, everyone. Mayor, city commissioner, city manager. My name is Nadia Locke, as mentioned, and I am joined by your former urban forester, Kim Pearson.
Good seeing you, Kim. Yes, thank you for all your service to Pompano Beach.
Kim is on the board of the Smart Growth Partnership and did not want to miss the opportunity to be part of this presentation for this special award. So congratulations to the city for the Smart Growth Excellence Award for the Pompano Beach Youth Sports Complex Park that's on the former Elks Lodge property. Smart Growth is a collaborative. We are a collaborative of diverse professionals with lots of backgrounds and lots of different kinds of professional and non-professional education. And our mission is to educate and advocate for incorporating smart growth principles into our development as we grow, growing smart, creating communities that people want to live in and that we can all thrive in. Our Smart Growth Excellence Award is awarded once a year to policies or projects or programs that embody the properties of smart growth. And this particular project, we had, was it 2 weeks ago, your Go Bonds director, Fernand Tony, had presented. He received the award on behalf of the city, and he made a presentation about the park to our annual event. And the project was very much appreciated, and in those venues, people can take away what they can replicate in their own communities. So it's really important to help us get the word out on some of these really fabulous projects like the Pompano Youth Sports Park. So there were many elements that were described and we were impressed with, and one of those in particular was working with the landscaping and the trees, and I thought Kim could maybe come up and just say a word about that.
Very good.
Sure. Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Attorney. This is complete full circle for me. As you said, I was an employee of the city for 18 wonderful years. Part of that was the city's first urban forester, and the Elks property, as I knew it then, was loaded with full mature trees that were not always appreciated. And myself and current urban forester Wade Collum fought diligently to educate and really teach to appreciate the natural resource that they have on that property. And finally, lo and behold, this project came up for the awards committee to consider, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me, this is fantastic. The third element on Smart Growth Partnership is to protect, preserve, and reward open space and collaborative spaces that increase connectivity through the neighborhood, and providing shade to those is a big point driver. So because the urban canopy there was protected way back when and continues to be protected and nurtured, we were able to and proudly present the city of Pompano with this year's Smart Growth Award. So congratulations and best of luck for the future.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
So would you like us to come up and present, or would you like to come down, or what would?
If we maybe if you guys could be right there, or
And I'd like to introduce Marianne Winfield, also on the board, one of the original Smart Growth Partnership members.
And who has a camera?
There's no camera.
You move this to the, hurry, you come on this side.
Good. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Good. All right.
Let's see. All right, very good. Hats off to our entire team. Thank you, Mr. Harrison, and everyone involved in that project. I know it's Horatio and Fernando, they get all the credit for the GeoBond projects, but it's really a team effort. Everybody, the entire city is involved in all of that, so thank you to all. Thank you. Very good. That takes us up to our next special presentation, is Design Award Presentation for the Youth Sports Complex Park. City of Pompano Beach has won an award from the Fort Lauderdale chapter of the American Institute of Architects for the design of the Youth Sports Complex Park. Mr. Jeffrey Huber, or whoever is here to represent, of Brooks and Scarpa Architects will make the presentation to the commission. Do we have anyone here for this presentation? Mr. Danovich, you want to?
Mayor, we've been trying to, we know that Jeffrey Hewitt could not make the event, and he was going to send a replacement. His name is Jeff Singh, but we haven't seen him yet, so.
Yep, there he is. Oh, there he is.
All right.
Oh, you made it, okay.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing. Come on down. No pressure, no pressure. You want to go? Horatio, you want to cue it up for us?
Yes, okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Mayor. Once again, Horatio Danovich with Stage LLC, consulting for the city. We're very happy to introduce to you Brooks and Scarpa, who was the architect of the youth sports complex and working under the auspices of Keith and Associates, who was the prime designer for this particular project. And when we were looking at this design, we wanted to be very creative. We wanted to do something very special. And Brooks and Scarpa came up with this original design, which we thought would be spectacular and a true asset to the community. Lo and behold, they went to the Fort Lauderdale architecture teams, and we won an award. So with that, I'd like to introduce Jeff Singh with Brooks and Scarpa, who's going to address the commission.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me, and I guess I was right on time. We wanted to say thank you for allowing us to be here, but on behalf of the AIA for Fort Lauderdale chapter, we're presenting you with this award for a design award for honor for a built project. Brooks and Scarpa is proud and feel really excited to be a part of the project and to have the opportunity to be a part of this team, and we've hoped that this project will be a project that stays around for a long time. I think it was, well built, and the design works well, in line with what the city wanted. We hope everybody feels good about it, as good as we do anyway. So,
Very, very good. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Very good. And once again, Mr. Harrison, thank you to the entire team for making that happen. It's always nice to get awards for our efforts, but it's very gratifying to know that these projects will be here for generations to serve our residents and visitors. Thank you so much. All right, let's see. That takes us up to audience to be heard. Kervin, do we have anyone signed up for audience to be heard?
Yes, sir. We have 3 speakers.
Very good.
First speaker, Joel Nigel, followed by Paris Owens, followed by Serica Peterson.
Very good. Just name and address for the record, please, and limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Joe Nagel, 430 Southeast 8th Avenue, Pompano Beach. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, city leaders. I've been up here a couple times already talking about the motel that I live next door to that goes under a code name of Airbnb or VRBOs. I'm going to read you a couple definitions, and then I would like you to explain to me how this is not one of the following. So Webster's dictionary describes a motel as an establishment which provides lodging and parking, and which the rooms are usually accessible from an outdoor parking area. Sounds like a motel to me. City of Pompano Beach, in Chapter 155, your zoning code, says, a hotel or motel is a state licensed building or a group of buildings in which sleeping accommodations are offered to the public and intended primarily for rental, for temporary occupancy by persons on an overnight basis. Again, sounds like a motel to me. There's a couple other examples, or a couple other definitions in here. Condo hotel, which I don't believe is what it is. Bed and breakfast, it's not what it is. But then we get to rooming or boarding house. Any building or portion thereof with 3 or more sleeping rooms, it's a 4-bedroom house, used or designed to provide rental lodging for transient or permanent residents, either with meals, which would be a boarding house, or without meals, which is a rooming house. So a hotel or motel or a rooming house are not zoned in the RS1 zoning map. So Mr. Mayor, Ms. Vice Mayor, City Manager, City Attorney, I would like you to explain to me how it doesn't meet any of those definitions and why you can't shut this down. Last time there was a special magistrate meeting going on the next day. They got fined. They have a $13,000, $300 outstanding fine from April, a $2,900 outstanding fine from August, and another $121,100 fine that's incrementing $1,000 per day, also from August. It's a total of $137,300. You've already lowered them from $62,000 to $5,000 on previous fines. They're basically up to $200,000 worth of fines. I just wrote my tax bill today. I didn't get any discount. I got my usual increase. So why is this going on?
Sir,
Yes.
this body does not lower those fees. This was all done by the magistrate. It's a separate legal entity.
Okay.
And Mr. Berman, if you like, could, after the meeting's over, can educate you on the difference in between these two bodies. But this is not the proper body to be asking these questions. You need to go before the special magistrate if you're not satisfied with what they have been doing in the past.
Okay, but do you agree that this would be either a motel or a boarding house? Because I was told the first time I was up here, well, we can't do anything because it's a Airbnb. But your definition shows it as a rooming boarding house or a motel.
Mayor,
It's Mr. Berman?
just a quick answer. Chapter 509 Florida statutes governs vacation rentals. They are part of public lodging establishments. They're regulated by the state. Take a look at that. If you want to have a meeting to discuss, contact my office. We'll sit down and go through the statutes with you and how our hands are tied as to certain procedures. That's all I want to say at this time.
Very good. Thank you for that, Mr. Berman. And I know this issue is being dealt with by code enforcement, and they're looking into foreclosure. And it's a whole host of things. Thank you, Mr. Nagel. Appreciate it. I appreciate your patience. Next speaker.
Good day. My name is Caress Owens McGill. My address is 305 Northwest 32nd Avenue. Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Commissioners, everyone in their respective places. I am here to talk to you today about the insidious crime of human trafficking. Human trafficking is not just happening globally, but it's actually within our very city limits. Aside from the existing processes and systems already established to combat human trafficking globally, how can we locally work collaboratively to deter human trafficking altogether? Might I propose a few options? Quarterly press conferences, just as we're meeting here now today, to discuss the importance of being socially aware, especially during peak heightened times of the year, such as holidays. Broward County school boards actually have an amazing approach to the issue. with allowing the teachers to spread awareness within the classrooms, sharing posters with information on where to report suspected human trafficking via the hotline? What if, as a city, we mandated similar initiatives in the effort to stay ahead of human trafficking? As the numbers continue to rise, so must our tactics as well. I would love to ride through our city and see posters putting traffickers on notice that this is an anti-trafficking human zone, that it may serve as a deterrent, especially in our most targeted areas such as low-income hospitals, specifically maternity and pediatric wards, fairgrounds, playgrounds, pediatric care facilities, along with accompanied ward or accompanied armed security in our surveillance. Potential handoff pickup locations such as warehouses, supercenters, malls, hotels, motels, and the list goes on. What if we created a task force within our city that allows the residents, such as myself, to get involved? This task force would serve as a hub for collaboration, bringing together all relevant stakeholders to share information, resources, and expertise. Together, we can develop a comprehensive and community-focused strategy to combat human trafficking effectively. Florida ranks number 3 in the nation for human trafficking. That is a problem. Broward County is in the top 5. I have 2 little girls myself. I have an 8-year-old and a 15-month-old, and I cannot imagine them being snatched away from me, yet alone imagine, the littles of others. But it is happening every day. Pompano is ours, and so are the people in it. We can leverage these strengths to identify, prevent, and respond to instances of human trafficking and stay ahead of it. And I want to partner with you. I just want to close with this. Galatians chapter 2, verses 6, chapter 6, verses 2 encourages us to carry on the burdens of others. And like I said, I want to partner with you guys. So may we definitely make a positive impact on our community daily. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much, ma'am. I appreciate that. Yes, that is an issue nationwide, worldwide, really. Thank you.
Ma'am, if you'll see Earl Bosworth back here in the back, he can go over what we're working on right now on this with BSO. Okay?
Very good. Thank you for that. Next speaker.
Sarah Peterson, 4354 Northwest 9th Avenue. I want to first start off by thanking Vice Mayor McGee for the nomination to the Public Art Committee, as well as Commissioner Segerson, Eaton, Foreigner, and Mayor for your vote in favor of me to sit on that board. I want to also bring up Hazel Armbruster. I remember having multiple conversations with her and her passion with the cultural arts and history in Pompano. She was also the president of the Cultural Arts Committee, which is not happening right now. It does not meet anymore. I don't know exactly when it stopped, but I want to revisit that, hopefully with the city, on how we can get that Cultural Arts Committee back going, because it will continue to, for me, keep her legacy going. When I first met Hazel Armbruster was at BACA, the Bailey Contemporary Arts. She was very reluctant to walk in that building because of the history it had to her, where she wasn't allowed to go in that building when she was growing up. Over time, she became an advocate for the arts in Pompano. I hope that getting the Cultural Arts Committee back going would bridge some of that gap in the community with the elders telling their story and what culture means to them, what the art means to them, and also getting a budget, because that was one of the things that the Cultural Arts Committee didn't have when I was sitting on the board. They didn't have a budget. So it was just sitting there coming up with all these ideas, and then you got to come find out how to make them happen. I don't know exactly if there's an idea of how that Cultural Arts Committee can run moving forward, But I do think it's something we need to revisit because the city has already invested quite a bit in cultural arts, and having a committee to help guide that moving forward, I think needs to get back on the table. So, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that, that update. Thank you, Ms. Peterson. Very good. Is there any further
That concludes the audience to be heard, Mayor.
Very good. Thank you for that. Appreciate all the speakers. That takes us up to our consent agenda. Can I get a motion approving item 1, 2, and 4?
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Item number 3 is a resolution.
Resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute a District 4 Maintenance Memorandum of Agreement between the City of Pompano Beach and the State of Florida Department of Transportation for the installation of solar-powered road crosswalk lighting assemblies and associated specified equipment within the right-of-way of State Road A1A, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second. This item was pulled by Vice Mayor. Vice Mayor. Vice Mayor.
Thank you. With going over first off, I want to say how excited I am that we're getting these light-up crosswalks, because I think it'll do a world of good with just safety, and especially now that it's getting darker earlier and all those things. It's just when I was going over the map of the locations, I noticed on 16th Street intersection, there's 2 very, very close. They're right on both sides of the intersection. And I just know from the past going over intersection or crosswalk crossings with FDOT, they don't like them to be that close together. So I wanted to just ask that staff, if we do move forward on this, can just revisit in-house and with FDOT to make sure that they want to have both at the 16th Street intersection, or if they want to just have the one, my guess would be on the north side, closer to the assisted living facility, just to make sure we're just doing it properly, since we're redoing everything.
Sure.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commission. Rob McCon, Public Works Director. I think Vice Mayor McGee has brought up a good point. Those crosswalks are there because the city requested, based on the number of pedestrians that like to cross at that intersection to go to the park and the beach. But it is odd that they have 2 that close together. And now, if we do put these lighted signals in the road, it's going to highlight them more, and it could be confusing to have them right together. It can be done, but it's not common to be like that without a traffic signal to control the traffic on either side of the crosswalk. So, assuming the commission likes the rest of the locations, recommend approving this maintenance memorandum of agreement. I will ask that FDOT take another look at this intersection and raise the point that we have concern that eliminate specifically the one south of Northeast 16th Street and keep the one north of that section. And it'll still provide, safe pedestrian access across that section of A1A.
Okay. Yeah.
I was concerned about a hazard of someone's like hitting one,
Yeah.
starts crossing the road, someone hits the other one, they're right there. So just second look is all I'm looking for that.
Good point. Yep, very good. Thank you, Mr. McCon. Appreciate that. Very good. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Further commission discussion, questions, concerns? Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Moss,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Seegerson-Eaton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee,
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
Yes, that takes us up to our regular agenda. Items 5 and 6 are quasi-judicial in nature. Mr. Berman will discuss the proceedings. Mr. Berman.
Thank you, Mayor. If anyone wishes to testify on items number 5 and 6, they must be sworn in, may be subject to cross-examination by the City Commission or by interested parties. Individuals who address the City Commission should state their name and whether they have been sworn. City staff will then make its presentation first, followed by the applicant or anyone else wishing to testify. Following the applicant's concluding remarks, the hearing will conclude, and the commission will make its consideration. All those who wish to testify on items number 5 and 6, please stand at this time, raise your right hand, and the city clerk will swear you in.
You solemnly swear or affirm that the evidence or testimony that you're going to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you.
Very good. Item number 5 is a second reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, abandoning 2 10-foot wide rights-of-way locations on the west side of Northeast 26th Avenue and a 5-foot wide right-of-way on the east side of Northeast 26th Avenue, north of Northeast 13th Street, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Good afternoon, Ms. Dolan.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Commission, Jean Dolan, Development Services. This is the second reading of the request to abandon a portion of Northeast 26th Avenue north of Northeast 13th Street. There have been no changes since first reading, and I'm available if you have any questions.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion. Questions? Concerns? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Moss,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee,
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
Yes. Item 6 is a resolution.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving the Phoenix Golf Cart Plat lying north of the intersection of Atlantic Boulevard and Northwest 31st Avenue, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Once again, Ms. Dolan.
Thank you, Mayor. Jean Dolan, Development Services. This is a proposed plat for a 1.7-acre vacant property located north of the existing Popeyes at the corner of Atlantic Boulevard and Northwest 31st Avenue. The subject property has a land use designation of commercial and is zoned B3. The proposed plat note limits the parcel to 9,660 square feet of commercial use. A site plan was approved for this project on April 26, 2023. The Planning and Zoning Board unanimously recommended approval of this plat on August 23, 2023, with 2 conditions which have been met. Staff recommends approval, and both staff and the applicant are available to answer any questions you may have.
Very good. Thank you for that. Does the applicant wish to make any presentation? Just here for questions. Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none? Wish to come forward? Sure. Please come forward. Just give your name, address for the record, and also indicate if you've been sworn, because you need to be sworn to give testimony.
No testimony.
Yeah, you have not been sworn. Kervin?
Let's raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony or evidence that you're going to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Very good. Now just name and address for the record.
Caress Owens McGill, 305 Northwest 32nd Avenue. So the property that you're speaking of, is it located on 31st Avenue, right across from the apartments? I think it's called Eternal now.
It's as shown on the aerial north of the Popeyes.
Okay. So do you know, I see that the plans were approved. Are you able to disclose exactly what those plans are as far as the business type?
Yes, it's a golf car sales and maintenance facility. And I can send you the site plan if you want to give me your email.
Okay, perfect. So B3, so that's basically storefront and maybe with apartments attached?
There's no residential associated.
No
with it.
residential,
It's
okay.
just a golf car sales center.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Further input from the public? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion, questions, concerns? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Moss,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee,
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
Yes, that ends our quasi-judicial proceedings. Item number 7 is the second reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute a medical director's agreement between the City of Pompano Beach and Richard J. Paley, MD, LLC, for medical consulting and advisory services for Pompano Beach Fire Rescue, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Good afternoon, Mr. Hudson.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission. Steve Hudson, I guess we'll call it interim fire chief. No changes since last reading. I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
Very good. Thank you for that. Congratulations once again. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion. Questions? Commissioner Perkins? Oh, I'm sorry. I saw you were, okay. Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Moss,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee,
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
Yes. Item number 8 is the second reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 50 Water of the City of Pompano Beach Code of Ordinances by amending Section 50.02 Water Distribution General by modifying the cost to test water meters, by amending Section 50.03 Water Tariff by deleting subsection D in its entirety and replacing subsection D to provide for modified rates and charges, by amending section 50.04, initial fees and deposits for new water service to modify fees for initiation of water service, by amending section 50.08, reconnection after cutoff by modifying charges for disconnection and reestablishment of water service, by amending section 50.12, change service installation costs to modify fees, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Good afternoon, Mr. Brown.
Afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. Randy Brown, Utilities Director. My presentation from last time has not changed. Elaine Vasicanta has our update presentation on the financial side, and if you have any questions, then we'll go ahead and vote on each of the 4 items separately.
Okay.
Change here.
Okay. So do we need, are we having an update presentation on the rates? Is that it?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Evening, Mayor, Commissioners, Elaine Conti, Raft Ellis. I'm going to briefly go over the summary that we gave last meeting, and then give you an update on the capacity fees from last time. As you'll recall, when we were here several weeks ago, we talked about the need for rate increases to water reuse and wastewater to support the capital improvement plan for upcoming regulatory requirements, repair and replacement, water quality, and so forth. So we are recommending rate increases of, for the average customer, that would be a little over 6.5% in each year, beginning October 1st of 2024. Nothing has changed on this. This is just summary information. With those changes, the average residential bill will remain comparable, as many other municipalities locally, statewide, and nationally are dealing with similar cost increases, so we still compare favorably. Similarly, for the Stormwater Fund, to fund the capital improvement plan and debt service that has been issued for previous projects, we recommended an increase that was about 68 cents per bill for the average residential customer, again, beginning October 1st of 2024 for each of the next 5 years. Similarly, that bill, the stormwater bill for the average residential customer, remains comparable to nearby utilities. For the other 2 components, we had customer service fees and capacity fees. For the customer service fees, no change. Those are the fees that we recommended to be updated. They haven't been updated in 2000. Once again, they're specific to a customer request. For example, if a customer wants a meter read or they want to have service initiated, they specifically would pay for those fees. We updated them to reflect material cost increases in personnel or current labor rates, and recommended those fees be increased January 1st of 2024, given that they haven't been updated in such a long time. Again, no change to what we recommended last time. For the capacity fees, those are the one-time charges for new development, also known as capital recovery fees. As we were here a few weeks ago, we mentioned that we revisited those fees and there was no increase in the fee itself, but at that point we mentioned that we may look at how the fee is assessed to see if that would result in any additional revenue recovery. We did look at that. To go over that very briefly, currently the way that those fees are assessed is a new development pays on their meter size, and those fees for those are scaled up based on industry flow rates for meters, so they're scaled up appropriately to serve as a proxy for what water use or sewer flow may be for that meter size. So that's the current assessment. And what we looked at was assessing it differently, which would be looking at each individual development and their estimated gallon per day use, and then applying a fee to that. And to give you an idea of what that would do is it basically, this is an example of 4 new developments that have taken place within the last several years. And so you can see the fees that they paid under the current meter fee. And then what we did was we took their actual flow and we multiplied it by the rate, and you'll see it's kind of a mixed result, depending on use, because now it's very individualized. A customer under this approach may pay more or may pay less. Overall, multifamily as a whole was pay less under this approach. Commercial as a whole may pay a little more. The end result is, from a revenue perspective, it comes out to maybe $45,000 a year, which is like 0.1% of the budget, and it would require something like this that's very individualized, would require staff to monitor it and also true it up. So in other words, you'd have to then go back and see what actual use was to see if the fee that they paid was either on target. If it was more, you may have to credit it. If it's less, they may owe you more. So we did look at it, but didn't find that it warrants, in our recommendation, something that would result in a revenue, significant revenue recovery.
Very good.
That's it.
Okay, thank you for that. So bottom line, you don't recommend a change?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yes, long-winded to say no change.
You did look at it, but you don't recommend a change?
Right.
Okay. Anything further, Mr. Brown? Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion. Questions? Commissioner Fournier, then Commissioner Moss.
I just want to say thank you for looking at that. I do see how it creates a lot of variability and not a consistent outcome that we might intend to create. So thank you, and I appreciate you doing that exercise so we could see what the result was.
Very good. Commissioner Moss?
Would you go back to slide number 2, please? Next one, sorry. What is North Springs ID? Cooper City, Tamarack, Hallandale Beach, Broward County, North Springs ID.
Improvement District.
Ah.
Coral Springs.
Where is it that a place, North Springs?
North Springs Improvement District is part of Northern Coral Springs.
Northern Coral Springs. Okay, thank you. I never heard of such a place, but thank you. Now I know. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Very good. Further commission questions, concerns? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Moss,
Yes?
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Seegerson-Eaton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee,
Yes.
Mayor Harton.
Yes. Item number 9 is a second reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 51 Sewers of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pompano Beach by amending Section 51.05 wastewater tariff to modify rates and charges for sewer service, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved?
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Once again, Mr. Brown.
Mayor Commissioners, Randy Brown, Utilities Director. This is the second reading of the ordinance for wastewater tariff.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion. Questions, concerns? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Moss,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Seegerson-Eaton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee,
Yes.
Mayor Harton.
Yes. Item 10 is the second reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 53 Stormwater Management by amending Section 53.12 Stormwater Fees to modify monthly fees for stormwater services, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved?
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Once again, Mr. Brown.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. Randy Brown, Utilities Director. This is the second reading of the stormwater tariff ordinance.
Very good.
And we are out looking and checking the stormwater system today in case the rains come about that they're predicting might come.
Very good. Thank you for that, as always. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion. Pardon, ma'am, if you want to, you need to come forward to the microphone. Give your name and address, please. Don't want to be intimidating, but we got to have it on the record. Just name and address for the record, please.
Mary Vickery, 1629 Southeast 2nd Street, Pompano Beach.
Very good.
I'm sort of confused about this storm water management because where we live, they did sidewalks and repaved. We never had the extra water coming into the yards until then. So I don't know what the problem is with the storm weather. Why are we paying something extra for something that was created by somebody else? The Lord didn't do that. I'm telling you, thank God we live on a little incline. The neighbor across the street gets flooded in this every day. I mean, it's not up to his house, obviously, but I just don't understand all this stormwater. It was created. We have one sewer a couple blocks down. We never had this problem until they started doing this, and I just understand why we're going through all this. It's been a major problem with that all the time, so maybe we need to look into that too. But anyway, that's all I have to say. I needed to get that off my chest. Thank you for bearing with me.
I appreciate that.
I've embarrassed my mate, so.
No, not at all. No, it sounds like we got an individualized flooding concern there. Mr. Brown? Mr. Brown?
Irvin.
Ma'am, before you sit down, Mr. Brown wants to.
If you would get with Mondi, my assistant here.
With this lady here?
Yeah, and she'll be able to take down your information. We'll get back with you.
Very good. It pays to come to the meetings. Thank you. Further input, please come forward. Just name and address for the record. No, not for this. This is not quasi-judicial. Thank you for asking.
My name is Bernadette Lucas. My address is 751 Northwest 17th Terrace. I'm here really on the concerns of the water that's on our street that's building up. We don't have drainages. We don't have where the water can drain out and go wherever it needs to go. I'm in a newer home that the city actually, thank you for helping me get. And I'm sorry, I didn't recognize. I want to tell you all thank you, commissioners, for what you have already done for the city of Pompano, but we do need more help in my neighborhood. Okay, but here is the thing now. You did give me a sidewalk on one side of the street. I don't know if you remember me or not, but yes, I fought for a sidewalk on my street, 17th Terrace. So we did get that, but now we're having a problem with the water. The water is building up. When it rains, when I go to my driveway, now it's settling there. So I would like to know, how can we get our street where our road will be leveled up higher and get the water so it won't drain or won't sit in the driveways that we have to pull up in a puddle of water? You understand what I'm saying? My property that I have now, my mother, it's been carried down to us from 1948. So if we didn't have sidewalks there, that's been there a long time. So we need your help. I really appreciate it. If you can get someone to look in to my street. Again, it's 17th Terrace, Pompano Beach, Florida. If someone can get over engineers and y'all can see how y'all can build our roads up so that we won't have the water building and settling on our street like that, okay? I appreciate it very much. Thank you for your time and help, sir.
Absolutely, very, very good. If you could, Mr. Brown, would you like to ask her to step out in the ante room out there?
Ms. Claude will help you.
All right, where the baby? Who to talk to?
The door's there.
Okay, all right.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate you coming forward. Yes. Further input from the public? Anyone else? Please come forward. This gentleman? No? Okay, very good. Okay. Going once, going twice, public input closed. Thank you for that. Commission discussion, questions, concerns? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Moss.
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Seeger-Eaton.
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee.
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
Yes, thank you for that. It's great to have people show up and participate like that. Fantastic. Item 11 is a second reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 54, Reuse Water and Cross-Connection Control of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pompano Beach by amending Section 54.05, Connection Charges and Rates to modify rates and charges, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved?
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Mr. Brown.
Mayor Commissioners, Randy Brown, Utilities Director. This is second reading of ordinance for the reuse tariffs.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion, questions, concerns. Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier.
Yes.
Commissioner Moss.
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Seeger-Eaton.
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee.
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
Yes, very good. Item 12 is the first reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 70, General Provisions of the Pompano Beach Code of Ordinances by amending Section 70.11, illegally parked vehicles, to provide for use of electronic parking enforcement technology, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved?
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Mr. Lance.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Jeff Lance, Parking Manager. The item before you today would allow staff to further investigate technology to assist with parking enforcement. As the city's infrastructure continues to grow, we wish to seek technology to efficiently and effectively support our parking enforcement platform. This amendment will allow the city to further investigate such technology. Additional wording will be added into the ordinance, or into our code, to allow for the use of technology to aid enforcement of parking within the city. With an increasing demand for parking, associated technology and support, enhanced parking enforcement has been made. Great strides have been made to assist other cities nationwide. Effective parking enforcement is essential to preserving the integrity of the parking enterprise system, which is 100% supported by the parking fees for debt service as well. Effective enforcement also enables us to maintain sufficient, safe, and adequate parking for our residents, neighbors, guests, and visitors alike. In no event will any citation assisted by technology be issued without the full review for accuracy by city staff. This concludes my presentation, and I'm available for questions at this time.
Very good. Thank you for that, Mr. Lance. Appreciate it. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion, questions. I've got Commissioner Moss, then Commissioner Fournier.
Yeah. Here's something that I'm curious about is it doesn't say what kind of technology this is all about. I mean, you're going to be using stun guns on 80-year-old ladies? I mean, what's this all about? Also, why is it that you need to come to us to ask for our permission for you to look into future technology? That's what I'm a little confused about.
Mr. Berman wants to chime in first.
I can answer that question if you'd like.
Yes, I would.
Thank you.
About the stun guns?
No, basically, this allows for use of cameras and all types of electronic. This will allow for changes in technology as it evolves without having to continue to come back before the commission. That's why the ordinance is not specific. What is specific is that no matter how the enforcement is used, whatever electronic equipment, it will still involve review by parking staff here before any citations are issued. So it has to be reviewed, has to be approved. The reason this is before you today is the way our code is currently written. It is very specific as to how a parking ticket is issued. It was written that way years ago. An officer sees a violation, whether it's a parking officer, code officer, or law enforcement officer, then issues a ticket, and that's it, period, end of report. So this was added to the code as an additional section in parking just to provide an alternative means to allow use and enforcement and issuance of citations by alternate use of technology and means. So we're doing this now. It's fairly general, and it will hopefully prevent Jeff from having to come back asking for more things at a later time.
Okay, well, thank you. That's very helpful.
Thank you.
So bottom line, no stun guns, right?
I didn't write that in, but I'll do whatever the commission directs.
No, I'm not. I'm just teasing. Okay, well, that's interesting. I find it a little unusual that you have to keep coming before this commission to, add cameras or whatever it is you need to do. But if that's the way the ordinance is written, then that's the way it's written. And I thank you for the explanation.
Very good. Commissioner Fournier.
Thank you. To Commissioner Moss's point, it doesn't allow stun guns, but if the stun gun had a camera on it, then maybe they would be able to implement a system like that. So this, it does feel really vague to me, and I get like some Big Brother vibes here. So why don't we wait until we have a system in mind to let us know what you want to do with this? So where you'd propose cameras being, what type of system you'd want to put in place? Why are we doing this now?
This item is not specifically for any particular technology or software platform. I recently attended a convention where I had a chance to see and touch a lot of new technology. It's changing, it's coming quick. So this is not for anything specific. It may not even be cameras. I don't have anything specific to talk about today.
Okay. So, but it could be that you would look at a system that put cameras on all the meters or something, for example. You could do that based on us passing this. And then is that data public record? It creates a lot of data, a lot of video. Is this right now just my cell phone? I can show you my phone and my camera and what I saw. This is really vague for me, and I always worry about unintended consequences of what we do here. So I would just prefer this to be part of a proposal that we understood a little better.
Just to be clear, the technology we use today, LPR, license plate recognition, we've had that since 2015. Those readers have no access to anything other than a license plate number and whether it's been paid or has not been paid. There's no personal information associated with that.
Right, but if we pass something like this, you could do a project or a pilot project with meters that have cameras on them, as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay.
Could. I don't know why we'd put a meter on a camera, but we could do something.
I've seen systems like that, because then when someone leaves, you know what time it is they've paid to, and you can issue citations that way. Okay, thank you.
But I mean, it's not like you would be going off on your own to do this. Of course, this is being consult with the city manager and city administration, and ultimately it answers to the city commission and to the residents. And if suddenly you were to put cameras on parking meters and there was a huge hue and cry from the public about these evil devices, then we would certainly hear about it, and we could certainly put the kibosh on it as representatives of the residents. But it just allows you to try things out as new and different things come forward. Is that kind of like it? Because, I mean, you can't do anything right now unless you came back to us.
Exactly. Before we'd even try anything out, we would just keep analyzing and looking at the new technology. It's coming out quick. We just keep looking and analyzing that technology before we even decide to try something out.
And would it be safe to say that the new technological avenues that are coming out in this realm, would they result in savings to the Parking Enterprise Fund overall?
Most certainly. We would look at this technology as our enforcement area continues to grow to aid enforcement in lieu of hiring additional staff and putting on additional vehicles to use sensors or any other technology that we might come across to cover a broader area with the same or less staff.
So, without pinning you down, of course, then it would be safe to say that this could alleviate parking rate increases in the future, perhaps.
Perhaps.
Yes. Okay. Very good. I've got Vice Mayor Vicki.
I have to agree with Commissioner Fournier's view of it, the vagueness of it, and I would prefer it coming back with a specific technology in mind that says we're going to do XXX to the ordinance for this technology that we are now funding and moving forward with, as opposed to just kind of a blanket. Let's see what comes. Let's see what AI wants to bring. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the red light cameras that everyone put in, and then there were the lawsuits, and then none of them work anymore. So it's just one of these things that the blanket wordage does concern me, and yeah, I would definitely prefer it brought back with the plan as we look through the different things that we want to do, and that way we can decide more specifically what routes we want to go down.
Very good. Further commission discussion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call, Commissioner Perkins.
So does this mean that you will or will not come back before us with any new parking technology?
At this moment, Commissioner, there is no new technology that we're considering. We're looking at all options, all
I know, but when you decide on maybe a new technology, will you come back before us or no?
We would, if there was an agreement, an ordinance or something like that, of course we would. We would certainly discuss it with city management as well.
Okay, no, okay, thank you.
Very good. Further commission discussion?
City manager.
Commissioner Moss.
But the answer to Commissioner Perkins' question is no. You wouldn't come before us if you were going to. If you found a technology that you thought was useful, if we pass this, you're going to be able to implement it without our consideration. Correct? Yes, no, maybe?
Well, I think it was a long-term agreement. If I found some technology that required a long-term agreement, I think I would have to bring it back to commission.
To me, this boils down to what trust does. And I know, are we giving up some of our authority here in this commission, and we just trust staff to be able to do things that could be beneficial to the community, could be detrimental to the community? And could they reduce parking rates? Maybe. But the cost of this technology could also increase parking rates. So there's a lot of ifs here and unknowns that make me feel a little uncomfortable too.
Very good. Further commission discussion? Ms. Sybil, did you want to chime in there?
Good afternoon, Suzette Sybil, Assistant City Manager. It is highly likely we're coming back to you with anything new. We certainly understand that technology is changing. We've had discussions with the Vice Mayor, Commissioner Forney about technology and just trying to create efficiencies. So we had spoken about Jeff attending the National Parking Association, which he did in September. A lot of great things out there. We're exploring everything. But again, because we fully understand what's involved with this technology, there are cost implications, obviously. Agreements have to be in place. That goes through the city attorney's office. So it's highly likely we're coming back to you anyway. I think the city attorney just wanted to right-side the ordinance. He's raising his hand again. Because right now we're doing things with LPR anyway and different things where we have third parties involved. There's new stuff coming out that requires these protections in the ordinance. So that was my understanding of why this was done, just to set that framework to right-side everything, but we're coming back to you anyway with all of these things. We always let you know when we're rolling out different things, whether it's the Barnacle, we always let the public know. We meet with you all one-on-one to make sure we have your blessing to bring these things forward, so it's more than likely we're coming back to you anyway. I don't know if that helps or makes it worse, but Mark?
Mr. Berman?
We're raising
No, I pretty much was going to say much of what Suzette said. This is just a procedural, so we have the opportunity to do it so the code permits use. Should the commission decide to instruct staff, the manager, you guys can thank me later, to always keep you apprised of new parking technologies that they're proposing, that might solve the angst that I've heard from the dais today, prior to enacting any or using any type of technology. They always do. If you feel better instructing them, that's fine. But this is just to allow for it. Doesn't mean anything's going to happen yet without your knowledge. That's all I wanted to make clear, in addition to what Suzette said.
I've got Vice Mayor.
I think my discomfort is I'd want to know much more specifically what I'm agreeing to before allowing it. Yes, technology is moving so quickly now, but from that, I don't know if the parking cameras in 3 years are going to have, facial recognition plus, your heart rate. It could be anything. In 10 years from now, who knows what it could be. So it's just without knowing specifically what type of technology we're talking about at the time, just gets uncomfortable with, just because technology is moving so fast.
Commissioner Moss?
Yeah, I agree. Could this be rewritten so that it's stipulated that any new technology is brought before the commission? Is that a possibility?
Mr. Berman?
I can certainly do that for you.
I would just feel more comfortable. I mean, it's, I know that in the District of Columbia, where I lived for 36 years, without the knowledge or permission of the residents of the district, they implemented certain cameras and other technologies that got the community up in arms. And after spending many millions of dollars on it, they had to do away with it because it was just something that, people felt was intrusive. So I think, considering the conversation up here, it might just be a good idea if we rewrote this so that it says, before implementing any new technology, you bring that information to the commission.
Very good. It might be interesting to research that episode in D.C. and find it was probably approved by the powers that be in D.C. But the
the federal government.
Right. So it was approved by the representatives of the residents, but the residents themselves went up in arms about it.
It was approved by the residents, the representatives of the residents of Idaho and Montana, because I've got to get this in here. 700,000 people who live in the District of Columbia have no representation in Congress, yet they are taxed higher than most people. So taxation without representation, 700,000 people in the District of Columbia. If you didn't know that, you should be concerned about it.
Spoken by one who lived there. Just out of curiosity, Mr. Berman. So I'm hearing from Mr. Lance and Ms. Sybil that, anything that they want to do is going to have to come back because it's going to be some sort of an agreement and all this kind of stuff anyway. So why are we doing this?
Because the code does not allow for issuance of a parking citation in the city through electronic means or through use of electronic equipment. It has to be viewed by an officer, one of 3 types of officers, who then writes the citation and places it on the vehicle. That's how it has been always done. If, for example, there's going to be a parking lot with limited parking, say 15-minute parking people, enforcement people can't get back and forth to keep checking. I think they would use cameras or something for that particular situation, but before a citation is written, a human being from parking must review it to avoid the legalities. So if they had something in mind, the code still would not allow it unless this provision was changed in the code or there was some additional means to write the citation based upon the specific way that it's currently written.
And so staff could go ahead and implement cameras without it coming back to the commission for anything having to do specifically with the cameras? I mean, there would have to be some sort of agreement with the camera company, right?
Oh, there'd have to be, but if it falls under, my concern is if it falls under the limit for contracts, it may not come before you.
Gotcha.
That's why I can add something here that says you will know about it before that contract is signed, not just what comes before you, but this way nothing will. And I can do that without changing the caption for second reading, provided it survives first reading.
Okay. So, yeah, you could add some sort of review process by the commission prior to any experimentation or implementation of any future technological changes.
I'm going to try, yes.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Very good. I've got Vice Mayor, then I've got Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
Yeah, no, part of my additional discomfort is that it is the blanket of cameras. License tag reader sensors are a different animal than cameras, and I know it's been in the news in the past few months about the 15-minute cities out in England where they put in these cameras to find people electronically if they left their homes. And so going down that route of big brotherness, that the town in England actually, a neighborhood group ended up destroying their own cameras. They climbed up things and took them down themselves to fight against this. And so I would just, especially before cameras came into play for me, I would want, before throwing it into an ordinance, I would want to know very specifically the technology being proposed, the ideas coming through, especially with the camera section.
Okay, very good. Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
Thank you. So when was the last time we did any changes to this ordinance, this section of our ordinances?
Mr. Berman?
Yeah.
There were various changes to parking involving locations, prices, things of that nature, but not to the method since I've been here.
Right.
Enforcement.
Yeah.
In 29 years, I do not recall ever changing or seeing any changes to the method of issuing citations.
Kind of back in the day when you had the little meter and you put a coin in, and unless the meter maid came around or, an officer came around and wrote the ticket, that was the way it was done. Okay, so, and, we talk about cameras, Folks really need to realize there's cameras everywhere. You can see the pier, you can go right online and watch your live cameras. We have real-time CCTV that's used as a tool. Remember when we had that terrible, those vandals broke those glass panels on the pier, and through that CCTV, we were able to identify those individuals. So, so that part of it, you know, it's commonplace. I think, though, my point in this is that technology is changing so fast. It's difficult to keep up with it, and if there are monitoring, if there are cameras or monitors that are reading license plates, tags, and all of a sudden, you know, this is a wanted person or this is a stolen car, that is a probable cause to make an arrest or pursue. And it's just similarly with a camera, and it's like obvious the meters run out, or however it's more than 15 minutes. I mean, this is, in my opinion, this is already there, and just being able to generate a fine or a fee for or a ticket by electronic means, via email, text, or whatever way electronically without having the paper ticket, which is, you know, really coming commonplace. Everything is paperless billing. You know, it's like I recommend that when you go to Lowe's or Home Depot, get your receipt emailed to you, because Lowe's doesn't do any returns after 90 days now. They don't do any, they've changed their entire thing. So everything is going electronic, and I just see that this is making it available for us to move along as technology moves forward, and make life easier. So that's kind of my take on it. Thank you.
Very good, very good. Yes, Commissioner Moss.
And I agree with Commissioner Severson-Eaton that when you are in a public place, you really don't have the right to assume a level of privacy. So if you're on a public street or in Lowe's or in a shopping center, you don't have the right to assume that privacy. To me, this seems to be a question of when does not enough become enough, and when does enough become too much? And my concern is that there is a danger of this becoming too much without our knowledge or review. So that's my concern. But she's right. When you're in a public place, you have no right to assume that what you do isn't seen by many people. So, but again, to me, it's too much.
Mr. Berman, do you want us to make a motion to direct you to add some language to this if this passes?
I don't need a motion for that. Your direction to me is to, and I'll come back and give you some language that hopefully will make everyone's concern, remove those concerns and make everyone comfortable. So depending if you wanted to table, if you wanted to read it just or approve it for first reading to see what I come up with for second reading, and then if you don't like that, we can take it a step further. I can always adjust to your desire. But I think I can give you some language very easily that'll resolve everyone's concerns here.
Yeah, because it sounds like everybody wants to have the review, be aware, and if it's going too far, then we can always put the kibosh on whatever technology it is. But yes, okay, Commissioner Fournier?
I think we should table this for now, and so we can talk to you about what we hope to see also. I'd like to make a motion to table this.
Second.
Table it and postpone until when? Next meeting?
Our next meeting in December.
December?
Can I make an adjustment just to January, since holiday season, we only have one meeting?
Till January's meeting.
Okay.
First meeting in January.
Motion to postpone until January's first meeting in January, whatever date that is.
Second.
Everyone can fill that in. So there's been a motion and a second to postpone. Just a question, whoever wants to field it. Is there any urgency here? Okay, no urgency. Just wanted to check on that. Fine. All right. Is there a discussion on a postpone? I think there is, isn't there? Because it's not tabled.
It's postponement. I think Not public discussion. I think it's fine that you postpone. It's more of an administrative matter, not
Okay. So any discussion on the motion?
Mayor,
Up top, I've got Kervin.
first meeting in January?
The first meeting in January, correct.
That's January 9th.
January 9th, postponed until January 9th. Motion made by Commissioner Fournier, second by Vice Mayor McGee. All right, nothing further? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimous, but with the exception of Commissioner Perkins, who is not here. I guess she
I'll
stepped
come up
out.
with some language for you by then, okay?
Very good, very good. Thank you for that. All right, so that takes care of item 12. Item 13 is a first reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute a construction agreement between the City of Pompano Beach and Cutting Edge Industries, Inc. to provide landscape installation and maintenance services, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second?
Moved and second for discussion. Good afternoon, Mr. Donovan.
Yes, good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Brian Donovan, Assistant City Manager. Several months ago, the city issued an RFQ for landscape services to help complement our capital improvement projects. We did receive one response to that RFQ, and that ranking was brought to the commission and approved. Therefore, the ordinance before you is a contract with that one vendor, Cutting Edge, and which the terms of which will match the RFQ that was issued back in May. And in terms of cost, there is no set cost for this. It's based on a project. It will be a project by project basis. Anything over $200,000 will be brought to the commission for approval. That concludes my comments.
Very good, thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion, questions, concerns? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Moss,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Seegerson-Eaton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee,
Yes.
Mayor Harton.
Yes, item 14 is the first reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, amended Chapter 34 City Policy of the City of Pompano Beach Code of Ordinances by creating Section 34.009 City's logo to provide restrictions on usage of the city's design mark, logo, or word mark, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second?
Moved and second for discussion. Good afternoon, Mr. Berman. Thank you for this.
You're welcome. This is per request of the commission. I took made an effort to put together based upon the direction I had, which was, I'm not complaining, I'm just saying it was somewhat loose, so I tried to tighten this up in terms of areas that I could find. I'm certainly willing to discuss any additional changes or concerns you may have. First, it says that no one other than city officials or staff may utilize an adopted city design mark, logo, or word mark for any purpose unless first has been approved by the commission or your designee. You may want to designate the manager or somebody else to do that, so everything isn't brought before you for use. For example, Frisbees that Sandra King hands out or whatever, or her staff. You don't want to be bothered with that on a daily basis, so I get that. Secondly, no adopted city design mark or word mark can be utilized on any products, goods, or services offered or which may be offered for sale, resale, or other commercial use unless approval for sale has been first obtained by the commission or designee. That would cover various items. I think it would also cover clothing worn by city personnel that, they can't take it to Goodwill or something and use it for resale, something of that nature. So you have people walking around with city shirts on. But if more language is desired in that area, I can certainly add it to mention some of the specifics. Again, these are a bit general. Finally, no adopted city design mark, logo, or word mark may be utilized by a candidate for election or re-election to any city or any other elected office as part of their election campaign materials other than as depicted in photographs of city officials taken during the course or performance of their official duties. In other words, if you're wearing a city shirt and you're cutting a ribbon, you're in the campaign material, that was part of your job. I added this because of several complaints that I had gotten during the last campaign about wearing a shirt, not wearing a shirt, what's appropriate for photos, what's not appropriate for photos, and you had talked about at some point looking forward to placing some restrictions or some guidelines for campaigns. This would be one of them. Again, these are matters that I kind of put together, looked at issues that we've had, and hopefully this is adequate. If not, I'm certainly willing to participate in any discussion you have here today and consider any modifications you may wish. Thank you, Mayor.
Very good. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion. First off, I want to say thank you, Mr. Berman. Appreciate you putting this together and keeping it broad, because there's no reason to make it specific and down in the nitty-gritty, but appreciate it. Commissioner Fournier.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Berman, I have a few questions on how we enforce this. So if someone works for the city and retires or quits and they have their uniforms, do we have to take them back to ensure they don't donate them to Goodwill?
As far as I know, we do. I think departments take them back, so there shouldn't be anything out there on the street. Now, we don't know what people take home. In terms of enforcement, I didn't put in here Chapter 1099. It's not punishable by arrest and fine and everything else. If it's an employee that's doing this, they're still an employee. Certainly, we can utilize methods or employee code of conduct and things of that for violating the city code. If it's a private company, we could go with civil action in a court and get injunctive relief, and there are other, if it's a commissioner, you guys can take it up here and speak about whoever it may be if it's an elected official. That's why there's so many possibilities as to how this could be violated. To put enforcement in here is kind of difficult, but it basically sets the city's policy, and as far as civil action against any corporation or company or individual person, that gives us some ammunition to, and plus, we have the federal trademark, federal law to protect us as well, because these have been trademarked. So we can proceed on that as well. So I didn't really think there was a need to deal with enforcement here, and there's so many couple different ways to deal with this.
Okay, and what if a local school or a nonprofit is having an event and they create a flyer and they put the City of Pompano Beach logo on it because they're saying, oh, I'm doing it with the City of Pompano Beach, but they don't have permission to do that? Are they in violation of this?
Potentially, but then again, they could be given permission by the commission or designee. Should be beforehand, not after the fact. But.
So are we creating a situation where not the commission, but our designee has to approve our logo on everything and anything?
The intent of this is to make sure that the city's logo is used appropriately and not used in the stream of commerce for something that's resold, for something that, or used for someone's personal advantage by indicating that they have city support by use of the logo for whatever, whether it's re-election or election or a business or a service that they may want to offer residents. That's where we've seen this misused in the past. In terms of a school and this and that, I can probably, we can sit here and think of dozens of scenarios. The question is, there's a general policy, whether we decide to take action or not, or how we proceed, we'll look at each one of those individually, would be my suggestion.
Okay.
But we could spend the rest of the afternoon, I guess.
That's kind of my point. We could do this forever. There's so many situations, and I guess I'm not really in favor of passing something that has no enforcement and has so many different ways that it could be interpreted or used. But okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Further commission discussion? Questions? Commissioner Moss?
No, I'm pointing to the Vice Mayor.
Vice Mayor.
I have a question. Is further up in the code, is there a clarified definition of what, if someone were to use the city logo, like what that entails of the city logo? Is that the entire logo? Is it the logo with Florida's Warmest Welcome? Is it just the fish? Like, is there definitions of what constitutes use of the logo?
Yes, it's use of the city's trademarked logo, and that's the design mark, which is our logo, and the word mark. The word mark is Florida's Warmest Welcome. They're both included there, separately, whether they do it individually or together.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, basically, our logo with the word, with Florida's Warmest Welcome, that is trademarked, it's service marked, it's protected by federal copyright. So yeah, if there's a flyer out there, Mark can send a letter, cease and desist, or I mean, if you really want to, if some company starts selling City of Pompano Beach shirts and they're not licensed by the city to do that, then yeah, then I mean, there's civil action can be brought against them for copyright infringement. Just like, you know, if you were the Beatles and somebody starts trying to steal your songs or something like that. So, yeah, this just kind of puts people on notice. It's like, hey, there you go. But yeah, if it's a city-sponsored event and somebody puts together a flyer or something like that, I don't believe there's any problem because it's a city-sponsored event, and that should be approved by the city anyway. But yeah, well, very good. Further commission discussion, questions, concerns? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier?
No.
Commissioner Moss?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Seegerson-Eaton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee?
Yes.
Mayor Harton?
Yes, very good. That takes us up to additional audience to be heard. Kervin?
No additional audience to be heard.
Very good. Thank you for that. Our next scheduled meetings will be December 12th, 2023 at 1 p.m., a regular City Commission meeting, followed by January 9th, 2024 at 1 p.m., regular City Commission meeting, and then January 23rd, 2024 at 6 p.m., regular City Commission meeting. Takes us up to our report section. Mr. Harrison.
No report, Mayor, but I'd like to wish each and every one of you a nice Thanksgiving. If you're
Very
traveling,
good.
be careful. Come back to us in December.
Very good. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Mr. Berman, City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. I think I've said enough. Happy Thanksgiving and happy holidays, everyone.
Very good. Thank you for that. Mr. Alfred, City Clerk.
No report, but I have a request that everyone leave behind their tablets so I can conduct a update.
Very good. Okay, everybody leave their tablets here. Thank you, Kervin. Appreciate that. Thank you.
And I also want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving holiday.
Very good. Appreciate it. That takes us up to City Commissioners. Commissioner Fournier.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few things today. I want to thank Parks and Rec for all of their work on youth sports this fall. We wrapped up flag football and fall baseball. It was the first time we had fall baseball in recent years. We had tons of kids out there learning sports. We had a lot of parent volunteers coaching, providing snacks. So everyone did a great job adapting to the tough weather conditions this fall with all the rain and finding ways to make our new fields work. And also, thank you for the Kester Park Family Fun Day event. It was a fun day and a fun way to reopen the park to the neighborhood. We had the first BSO versus Pompano Beach Fire Rescue chili cook-off and kickball game. It was a fun event, and hope we can do that every year at that park. So thank you for that. I want to say thank you to all of our veterans for their service. I just saw Captain Torres walk in. It was Veterans Day over the weekend. And thank you very much for your service and all of the service of the Pompano Beach, the veterans who live here in Pompano Beach. I received a message from Drew from Y100 on the afternoon show. He is doing a very large turkey giveaway in Pompano Beach this weekend. So on Saturday afternoon, November 18th, he's giving away hundreds of turkeys. So if you are tight this holiday season and you need a turkey, he has you covered. The event is at La Veranda Restaurant starting at noon on Saturday. I think you just drive up, they put a turkey in your trunk, and you drive away. So I want to thank Drew for doing this event here in Pompano Beach. I had the honor of hosting a Girl Scout troop here yesterday in the commission chambers, so I wanted to give a little update on how that went. It was really a lot of fun. It's a local Pompano Beach Girl Scout troop. They are very passionate and smart. They earned a local government badge by their participation here. Interestingly, at Audience to Be Heard, several of these girls brought up Atlantic Boulevard. They said it takes a really long time to get to school, and we don't need bigger sidewalks, we need another lane. So I thought it was fascinating that these girls really get it. Maybe this commission eventually will listen to the next generation. But on a less serious note there, they did pass two resolutions. The first one was designating an official favorite Girl Scout cookie in Pompano Beach, and that was the Thin Mint cookie. And the second was their official Girl Scout project is going to be a library reading program. So I really want to thank Earl and Kervin for helping make that happen. It was a lot of fun. And then I want to talk about one topic that actually Joe brought up earlier at Audience to Be Heard, which is short-term rentals. So this issue is, I think it impacts every district a little differently. So in my district, short-term rentals are a big deal. We have a lot of them. And we have a lot of rules for short-term rentals that this body has passed, but one of the challenges, I think, is educating the property managers and educating people about all the rules we have, the capacity rules, the noise rules, the garbage, the parking. So I had been talking to some residents, and I have two ideas I want to talk to this board about to see if you if there's any agreement on this and perhaps moving forward. The first one is being a little more proactive about educating on our ordinances instead of just expecting these Airbnbs to comply. So I think it might be helpful to look into a very short training on our ordinance. It could be in line or in person. So if someone is applying for a BTR for a short-term rental, maybe they have to take a little 30-minute course on our ordinances as part of the registration process that we have in place, so they can proactively learn about what they have to do to comply. So I think that's the first idea I had to help the property managers understand what they need to do and try to tie that to the registration process. And then I think we should revisit noise monitors for short-term rentals. These devices are everywhere. They help property managers do a much better job managing the properties, and there's a lot of data out there about that. So other surrounding cities have also adopted these noise monitors, so I always worry about us being kind of left behind. So I'm wondering if there's any support for these two ideas to help we're not changing our ordinances because we have a lot of rules in place for these, but to help educate and enforce what we have.
I think you'll probably find a lot of support amongst the city commission on anything having to do with short-term rentals, but I just want to hear from Mr. Berman first. Mr. Berman?
I believe the noise monitor requirement's already in progress. That's being written up as we sit here. So we'll bring that back to you when it's ready. In terms of the processes, I will meet with Mario and the rest of my staff and Development Services to find out what exactly is done when people apply. I believe they're given copies of everything. They're provided with copies already of our rules and regulations with regard to noise, garbage, parking, et cetera. So that's already done, but I'll confirm that when I meet with them.
And also, but Mr. Berman, specifically, would that be allowable under state law? Can we put something in there for short-term rentals that, okay, as part of the deal to get your BTR, you've got to watch this?
I'll have to review that.
Okay.
I would like to look at that because I know we hand people a packet of what they're allowed to do, but most people probably just, put it on the passenger seat of their car or in the garbage. I'd like to make sure that people are actually reading this, understanding it. I think that would be help them as a manager of the property.
A short video.
Yep.
Narrated by
you.
I was going to say. All right. I'll look into that.
I'd like to look into it to ensure that they've actually seen what our ordinances are, because every city is different.
We're limited. We can have them and provide them with our rules and regulations. It benefits us for less visits. It benefits us so that they don't put up a defense for any violation. I didn't know. Yes, you had everything. Forcing them to sit and watch a video. If you remember the film A Clockwork Orange, I don't know if we can do that and pry their eyes open, but I'll look into it and see what else, if anything, we can do to improve compliance and make it a better situation.
And education, just to make sure that they're actually reading and processing what we're giving them. So I would appreciate that. Maybe it needs a quiz or something. You have to pass. Okay, I'll make the quiz for you, Mr. Berman.
I would just like to chime in, if it is possible. I would say I like the video idea, especially sort of like continuing education for real estate or attorneys. And I'd say they have to do it annually and click on the buttons so we know they're watching throughout the video. And that way, any new ordinances, anything new that has come on the horizon, now they are completely aware of everything we're doing.
I don't think we can require what would amount to something similar to continuing legal education that I have to go through. But again, we'll look into it and see if there's a better process out there or one that we can invent that might pass constitutional muster. Sometimes you don't know until the judge or jury rules, and I don't want to put us in that situation either. So we'll take a look at it. I understand the desire and the issue, and I'll be happy to see what we can do.
Very good. Great idea, Commissioner.
Thank you very much, Mr. Berman. And just lastly, there's a lot of fun events with the holidays coming up. We have the Yuletide Parade and more. All of that's happening, I think, before our next meeting. So check the calendar. And I'm always thankful to be here with all of you, and I want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving.
Very good. Thank you for that. That takes us up to Commissioner Moss.
Thank you. First of all, congratulations to everybody who was involved in the drone show the other day. It was incredible. And a special congratulations to Sandra, who got us front page of the Sun Sentinel above the fold. It doesn't get any better than that. So you did a very, very good job. All of you who were involved, it was spectacular. And I think from what I've heard, the ability to get on and off the barrier island was easier this year than it was in the past. So I think as we go forward with these things, we'll fine tune it, but it was really incredible. And my hat's off to everybody who was involved. And as the only person on this dais who was actually born in Plymouth Colony, I wish you all a very pleasant and happy Thanksgiving. That's it. Thanks.
Very good. Thank you for that, Commissioner. Commissioner Perkins.
Just one acknowledgement. I wanted to ask my mother to stand up, please. Stand up, Mother.
Come on, Mom.
I wanted to acknowledge my mother. Her birthday is next Tuesday. She will be 92.
Right.
So she always told me she's coming to the meeting, so I always let her park in my parking space. Sometimes she says she's coming and she doesn't, but I usually leave my parking space open for her. So I just want to thank my mom. She's a retired school teacher. She's been retired now about 25 years. She taught in the Broward school system for 37 years, and I just want to say happy birthday, Mother. Right. And happy Thanksgiving to everyone. That's it.
Very good. Thank you for that, and happy birthday. All right, takes us up, Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
Thank you, Mayor, and as well, I would like to wish everyone a wonderful Thanksgiving. Have a great weekend, be safe, and enjoy. That's it. Thank you.
Very good. Vice Mayor.
I wanted to definitely thank staff, BSO, and everyone involved in the drone show this past weekend. It was a beautiful tribute to our veterans, and people, it was beautiful. I really appreciate everything that was done. Yet we're going to still keep working on traffic flow and making the event better and better, but it was very cool, and everyone had a really great time. I definitely want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone. If you're traveling, travel safe. And also just all the events that are coming up in the city, follow us on Facebook, follow the city website. They keep adding. There's more events, it seems, every other time I turn the page on. So enjoy and have a great holiday weekend.
Very, very good. Thank you, Vice Mayor. Just out of curiosity, Commissioner Fournier, who won the chili cook-off?
Oh, boy. BSO won the chili cook-off.
Ooh.
Pompano Beach Fire Rescue won the kickball game.
Okay, all right. Wow,
split.
so BSO.
But it was a treat. We were all winners who got to try the chili. They were all delicious.
But basically what you're saying is that the BSO has better cooks, but our fire
shocked.
rescue has better athletes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, that's something.
Surprising result, though.
Yes. Thank you. Well, thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. And yes, congratulations on your Girl Scouts here in the chambers. I just got to follow up with the drone show. Hats off. Seriously, second year, it gets better and better. Having two shows was a great idea. Of course, the shuttle's great idea. It's fantastic, really, top notch. Keep it up. Let's keep going. It's already been mentioned all the events we've got coming up, but I do want to mention a few. We've got Light Up MLK coming up November 18th at 5 p.m. We've got Yuletide on Atlantic coming up at December 7th at 6:30. We've got tree lighting, Music Under the Stars holiday special. That's down at the Great Lawn. That's on December 8th at 6. We've got Breakfast with Santa coming up December 9th at 9 a.m. over at the Olson Civic Center. We've got the Green Market now the second and fourth Saturday of every month. Old Town Untapped, of course, never stopped, and it's the first Friday of each month. We are busting at the seams with things going on, and thank you to staff for that, and thank you to our residents and visitors for supporting all these things. It really makes for a richer community. It's great. Lots of holiday-themed stuff coming up. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Enjoy your break, and we'll be back here in December. Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.